Good morning. Welcome to our farm in Southern Virginia. I'm Kirsten. We have lived here for 16 years and we have 8 children and raised most of our own food. I have been blogging about that for the last couple years, but I'm going to start sharing some videos because I think it's going to be easier to show what we do in the garden and what we do with the animals on camera rather than taking pictures and writing about it. So this year and hopefully on forward, I'm going to be videoing and sharing our farm here. So if that's something that's interesting to you, follow along and see what we have. Today I'm going to be talking about organizing the garden and early planting. It's the beginning of February, which means it's high time I got organized with the garden. The other day I actually pulled out all the seeds and figured out what we need for this year, and I actually ordered what we needed. But I wanted to show y'all, well this is what we are doing this year. Everything that's asterisk was what I needed to order, and everything else is leftover seed that we've used last year or that we've used for a couple years and still have. So every year, I haven't gotten these filled in yet because I need to sit down with the kids and organize this, but every year the kids pick what they want to grow. We sit down and we just kind of read off what there is, and they pick stuff. So usually, like this is last year, they picked a lot of stuff. That's what we were growing, and then we just write down who's growing what. And of course, the younger kids, they need help, and that's fine. I like working with them, and it helps them learn what they're doing. And then we map out the garden. So we've got a plan of what goes where every year. And this past year, I kept track of all the canning that we did and the pounds of potatoes and things like that we harvested. And then also I tried to keep track of the dates that we planted and harvested various crops, just to help me. I've only been keeping records for, I think, 2 or 3 years, and every year I try to get a little bit better at it. But let's go down to the garden now and I'll show you what we're planting down there. This is just a small bed. I'm gonna plant some carrots in it. If you look closely, there's actually strawberry plants in here. Unfortunately, deer got in the garden this winter really badly for a few weeks, and they ate down the strawberries. And this bed was already really bare compared to how we like a strawberry bed to normally be. And so we've chopped up the dirt between the plants to make it nice and deep. And I'm just gonna plant carrot seeds between the strawberries because I do not like to waste space. So I interplant quite a bit, actually. That's the size of the garden going all the way to the end of the chicken pen. And then we have this new section over here that we're turning into garden. But we're a family of 10 and we eat a lot of food. So anywhere that there is ground that can be planted, I go ahead and plant. So in this bed, that means we're going to be interplanting some carrots in with these strawberries. Now I normally just sprinkle my carrot seeds, and then we can do a little thinning if we need to. I've actually even had them come up and get big even when they're a little crowded if you just leave them in the ground a little longer. Carrots like the cold weather, so they don't need to be covered at all. Some rain wouldn't hurt, but they actually do well in the cold. And the carrots I'm planting right now are just for fresh eating. I'm gonna have some lettuce that we're starting in the house. See, this is the size of the seeds. They're just really, really tiny. So we just sprinkle them. But we're starting some lettuce, and we'll plant that out here too. I actually often direct seed my lettuce, but I am going to start it in the house this year. And then, so these carrots will just be for eating with salads. Our main crop of carrots we actually already harvested because I grow them over the winter, and we harvested them a few weeks ago and canned up 14 quarts of those. That's our main crop. And then This is just for fresh eating. It is a beautiful day out here. Really nice, nice and warm for the beginning of February. So glad the fields are starting to green up on us. Our dining room has south-facing windows, so this is where we start our seeds. Right now I've just got one flat going. We're starting some onions. Though later today we're going to start some lettuce. This is where I plug in the heating mat, and as you can see, I've got one heating mat right under there, and I use that for whatever flat I'm actually starting at the time. And then once the seeds have come up, I go ahead and start another flat and use the same mat. Though today when we plant the lettuce seeds, they will sprout in cold weather, so I won't even need the heating mat for them. Once the seeds come up, we take off the cover here because we don't want it to be too humid. But until then, it doesn't look like we've got anything up. There's two kinds of onions planted in there, and we'll just kind of keep an eye on them. And as you can see, we got plenty of light right here. Big windows facing the south. And then on days that it's warm, I actually take them outside. Sometimes I've got several flats to move, but I'll move all of them outside and just place them right here. And we're getting a little bit of shadows from the willow oaks right now, but especially in the morning we get good sun, and it really gets hot right here. The south wall there really kind of captures the heat. And one advantage to taking them out and putting them here is that they harden off, so that when they do go out and get planted in the garden, they're already used to outside the full sun and just the weather. They're already acclimated to it. So I tend to move them around a little bit. Sometimes I end up on the railing just to make sure they're getting the maximum amount of sun. But for right now, we just have them one flat started in here, and though hopefully later today we'll be getting some lettuce going as well. We're starting lettuce seeds. We just use old seed flats that we've used over and over, and we don't worry about washing them. We've done it like this. We've always done it like this, and we haven't ever had a problem with any kind of disease or anything. This is some dirt. I've actually not used this kind before, but it was recommended by the folks at our local farm store, so that's what we're using. And the girls are just gonna fill all the little holes with dirt and get it pushed down nice and tight in there. And then we're planting a couple different varieties of lettuce. And like I said earlier, we normally just direct seed our lettuce, but we just decided to go ahead and plant them in the house this time. And I do like to have the lettuce a little bit spaced, and it's easier to do that if we start it in the house, so that when we plant it in the garden, there can be space around each plant, so each lettuce head gets bigger. Okay, Clara, so you have, what do you have? New Fire Red? Mm-hmm. And Ava, you have just green leaf lettuce. Okay. So put one in each of the little cells and just push it down a little bit. Don't push it down too deep, just a little bit. And then when we get back up by the house, we'll water them in. The next day, it's nice and sunny, and I wanted to show you. I brought my seed flats out here. There's the lettuce. They get the cover now because the onions are starting to come up. And it's not super warm out, but it's plenty above freezing, and with all the sunshine, this is good for them. They can take some cold. But I wanted to show you, we've got Little onions are popping up in there. And being in the full sun will be really good for them. I love my south-facing windows. Okay, it's the end of the day, and after supper, the kids and I sat down and we went over everything that we're going to grow in the garden this year, and everybody picked out what they want to grow. So we've got it all organized, and it's going to be a good garden season. I'm looking forward to it. But I wanted to show you, I also mapped out where we're putting everything in the garden, and so let me show you what that is. I have had it in my head for a while what I'm planning on doing, but I always write it down and make a little map of it so that the kids can see it if they want to see it, or Jay can see it, or it's just for reference for me or for the following year. So let me show you what I got here. All right, this is the shape of my garden. It's this is the original part that I've been gardening for years and years, and this here I did not draw on this paper because I didn't actually want to waste the paper. But this is the chicken pen part of the garden, and we do plant in that. We take the chickens to pasture, and they're deep bedded, so the soil is it's not too rich. And in this garden, this is what we call the original garden, and I have raised beds which are not they don't have wood around them. They're just, each of these is like a hill of really good dirt that we had made in the chicken pen, and then we hauled out to here, and we've done that for years. And so all this is really good soil. And so we're planting here, we're planting everything that grows down in the soil, like potatoes, onions, sweet potatoes, stuff like that, carrots. Because we don't want to put that in the what we call the chicken garden. The chicken garden is going to be several rows of corn that go all the way back, and then several rows of tomatoes that go all the way back. So this is all corn and tomatoes over here. And then this is the road. Our driveway's here. We have a flower garden, and then there's a gate there at the arbor, and then we have a big gate here and a big gate here, and this is a grass road. And this area is this is the new garden here. So this is not good soil yet. We will be working on it, but right now this was actually part of the goat field, and before that, just a couple years ago, is wood. So this here is not good soil. And what we're growing here, we have already put in some of the rows of strawberries with raised beds the same way that we do this. We hauled dirt out of the chicken pen before the chickens were in, before we put them in, and I think we put them in the pen in November. So when we were done growing over here, we hauled some dirt out and we made some strawberry rows here. And then I'm gonna use cattle panels as a hoop that goes over, and I grow my butternut squash on that and mini pumpkins. And for that, we'll just also bring out good dirt and put it like this and plant our seeds in the good dirt there, and then we'll just be able to mulch around it. I'm not planting anything in this garden that needs, basically I'm doing all vines. So I've got the cantaloupe and I've got pumpkins, butternut squash, and the mini pumpkins, because what I have done very successfully in the past is I'll just put really good soil and I'll plant my seeds real close together, and then I'll mulch with hay and grass clippings and whatever we have on the farm that, you know, is old and it's rotting down, and we'll mulch around with that. But the seeds and where they're coming up and where the roots are, we got really good soil there. So until this garden has better soil in it and we can do, you know, like raised beds and all like we have over here, this will be our growing method here. And everything, we've already started to bring hay in from the cows, and I think from the goats. We've already started to bring old hay into here. So this will end up turning into good soil. And then this is there's a fence line here and a fence line here. And this area is part of the goat field. And then we have electric around the whole garden to keep deer out. But we've got also peach trees planted here and blueberries. So this is the map, and I'll just zoom down here in case you want to see that in more detail. And this is the first planting. So this is very, very small beds here. Will be our, like our little lettuce garden, our little salad garden here. But I grow a lot of this later in the year. And when my peas come out, I will plant those rows. When my corn comes out, I plant later beans in that. I always succession plant. And so that's how we can grow enough for our family of 10 just using this space. So that is the plan for the year. And we are excited about it getting close to planting season. Well, we've put some stuff in, but a couple months and we'll be hard at work out there. So that's what it's looking like.